Hello everyone, it's the day after Thanksgiving and it's the first time I have not gone Black Friday shopping, and I'm feeling okay about that because I'm down in my basement doing some crafting and thought I would show you my walkthrough of my mini album that's called Sweet Peppermint by Prima. I got the papers in my creative design team haul box, and included was this globe that Tammy put in there. And so the theme of this book is a Christmas theme, obviously, but also I tried to incorporate snow globes on the inside also to kind of mimic the front cover. So I'll do a walkthrough, and following this walkthrough, I will have a tutorial at the end showing how to make the base pages. And in the description box, I will have the link to Tammy Merrill's video on how to do the spine. Rather than recreate the wheel, I just always link to her video because she does such a nice job of explaining it, and that way it saves me a little bit of time too. So if you take a look, let me get I don't remember the measurements of the album. The front cover is about 6.5 inches wide, and it is, I think, 8.5. Yep, it's a 6.5 by 8.5 mini album. And I incorporated the globe, like I said, on the front. And normally, I know a lot of people put in some things like sequins and stuff and the snow, but I did not have any dryer sheets to go through the inside of the globe, and so it would have been very staticky and it would have driven me crazy. So rather than have the free-flowing sequins and stuff, I just glued everything to the back, and there's no shake, like nothing's gonna move. So had I had these dryer sheets and it was handy for me, I would have gone ahead and used that, and then I would have put some snow probably down at the bottom or some more of the green sequins that I glued to the back. So this pull also came from Tammy's store, and I did not put any kind of closure on the book because I like to leave mine open, and so I like to have it I like to have it sit up nice and neat, and this one happens to be real good without a closure to attach the back to the front, and so I just left it open and don't have an attachment from the back to the front. You'll notice that I have around the globe, then I have some lace to cover up that lip, and I have some iridescent pearls. These flowers do come from the collection, and then I have a Santa from the chipboard collection that she sent. The chipboard pieces that are behind the globe and at the bottom here came from the Prima Sweet Peppermint collection also. I had some iridescent sparkly snowflakes that I put up in the corner, that corner was empty at first and it just didn't look right, so I had to add something. There is also some white lace that I put on the binding from the front to the back. I have a piece of seam binding, a bow that's holding on to this glass piece that came with the ephemera or the chipboard pieces that was sent to me, and then I have the lace on the back too. So I'll just do a quick walkthrough so you can determine if you want to follow the tutorial that follows the video. So when I do an album, sometimes I put things on the front inside cover, sometimes I don't. And this time I chose not to, just because I have enough space to put pictures without having to add some extra things on the front cover. So here's where I tried to mimic the look of a snow globe. So this is actually a pocket, and this circle lifts up and it also comes out. So this makes it look like the base of the snow globe, and I just added some swirl pearls and an iridescent snowflake. And then let me set this down. I have 3 pages like this where there is a round piece that lifts up connected to a rectangular piece, and then that would be a great place for photos. And then you put it in the pocket and it looks like a snow globe. Okay. Now all of these pages are open at the top. I chose to leave them open. However, I don't have anything in there right now. I ran out of the Sweet Peppermint collection, so I'm trying to decide if I just want to go with a plain piece of paper or if I want to go ahead and get more of the paper collection. So do know that the tops are open though, so there's a lot of places to store pictures. Now the back of this, I put a piece of paper here to save the spot for a photo. and chipboard piece here. I do have a magnetic closure to help this stay shut. When it opens, there is a pocket, and I put some of the cards from the smaller collection. I think it was the 4x6 paper pad, and I just left those plain, and those would be a great place for pictures also. I really liked that pattern right there. Okay, so those go in that pocket, and I just kind of staggered them so that you could see. There's 3 layers there. So that just kind of adds, it looks like stair steps. So the pocket fit perfectly with those pictures. Then all the pages have a flap with some lace at the bottom, and that lifts open. And again, a picture place for a large photo. This is opened a little bit so you can tuck a photo behind it. So I wanted some varying page sizes, and so I cut my binding, and so I have 2 separate pieces here. Okay, and I wanted those to kind of look like packages, and then these come out, and you can put pictures on those. So then both of those, like I said, they're separate. Then we have our next page that looks like a snow globe. And I have a chipboard piece from the collection. I have a flower from the collection. I had some swirl pearls. This says Happy Holidays down at the bottom. It's a metal piece that I had in my stash. And again, this lifts up. And so this comes out, and that has places for pictures. And then there's a pocket, see? And again, like I said, the top is open. But I just think that's cute to make it look like a snow globe. So with that brown piece at the bottom, I thought it was perfect. So the back is the same. I have a door that has a piece of paper saving it for a picture. I did not glue this all the way down so that you could tuck a picture underneath. When you open, there's a pocket on the left with some mounted matted papers, and the back is open for journaling. Stagger those in the pocket. This does lift open. Okay, and again, there's a magnet closure to help it stay closed. Then I did the split hinge on this side, the next page also, so these are not connected, they're separate. And I added a flower so that the paper, the insert wouldn't go all the way in, so that's kind of a stopper. And then here's one. The back's empty. And then here is the third snow globe page. This one's my least favorite, so I put it on the last page. I don't know if you guys do that, but I do. So the round piece lifts up, and you can put pictures underneath of it. This is supposed to represent the base of the snow globe. Have 2 flowers from the collection. I tried to add some sparkly bling down there. This comes out. You can add pictures to the back. You can have pictures underneath. And the back. So there's basically only 2 styles of pages. The one with the snow globe and the split page. I kind of am known for doing that. Like I'll repeat a pattern. So when you open, I have the pocket, and it's got some of the 4x6 cards in it. I really like this one. Looks like a postcard. And there's 3 different ones in that pocket. And again, I kind of stagger them. We have the flip with the lace around the bottom. And you just can't add too many embellishments on the inside, because then you'll have that bulk and your book won't close nicely. So the only dimension I have is a chipboard piece down in the bottom, that old tree. And then I have this lace, and that's it, so that it's nice and will close nice and neat. And then my back cover, I just put a sticker up in the corner from the collection. So there is my book. I am going to show you how to do the base pages. And like I said, I will have the tutorial for making the hinge linked down at in the description box to Tammy Merrill's page. I can put my pieces back in. I am so happy with how it turned out. It helps to have a beautiful paper collection. Go ahead and leave a comment if you have a question. Sometimes I don't show everything on camera. I do a lot of things off camera, and then I come back and show you what it looks like. So if there's something that's missing and you need to know how to do something, hey, drop me a line or two and I will get to you as soon as I can. I appreciate you watching my videos. Subscribe if you like what you see, and visit Country Craft Creations. Stay tuned for the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. All right, so I'm ready to show you how to make the base pages of the Sweet Peppermint mini album. I'm kind of calling this mini album a snow globe mini album. The base pages are really easy to make. It's going to be your embellishing that's going to really add so much to this mini album. I want to remind you of the paper that I'm using for the base pages. It's the Artisan Cardstock by Country Craft Creations. It does have a little bit of a texture to it, but it does not crack when you use your bone folder to crease it and to score it. It does come in different colors, so I think you'll really enjoy working with this paper line if you haven't already. So I'll give you some measurements as I go. You might want to watch through the video once just to make sure I don't screw up anything, but I think I have everything worked out. I will have the measurements just verbally as I go through, and I'll have them on sticky notes so that you can refer to them. The first thing is the actual base page, and when I'm talking about the base page, remember it's a top loading, and so you're going to need a total of 3 pages that measure this. I cut them at 12 inches by 8 inches. And then I went ahead and placed my paper on my scoreboard with the 12-inch side along the top, and I scored it right in half at 6 inches. Okay. I went ahead and give it a nice crease with my score tool, and right now this is the one I really like using. It's Teflon. And I am going to glue the bottom. I'm going to keep the top unglued because I do want to use it for a pocket, but the bottom I want to seal. So when you seal the bottom, you're going to attach it to your hinge. So you do need about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch opening on the side here so that it can fit onto the hinge. So when I put glue on, I'm just going to put glue going from about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch over to that crease. Okay, I am going to use the glue that I get from Tammy's store. It's the Art Glitter Glue, and I have the fine tip on it so that it comes out real fine, thus the name Fine Tip. Okay. And it does not take much, and this glue does adhere very quickly. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time to move things around, which can be both a pro and a con, but it really is a great adhesive. Okay, so then it's still open on the top and the side, and remember I did leave that little bit of an opening down at the bottom so it can grab hold of the hinge system. Okay. On the front, I also have a pocket, and so the pocket is going to measure, and you're going to have 3 pages like this. So the pocket is going to measure 3 3/4 by 7 inches. You are going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Okay, so the 2 short sides and then a 1/2 inch on one of the long sides. Okay, 3 of those. And what I do is I'm going to score them first. Then I'll add either my score tape or my glue. If I do score tape, then I go ahead and put the score tape on, and then I clip the corners. I miter the corners to give it a nicer flat fold. I'm going to go ahead and do where that little square is, I cut at an angle on each side. And that will take care of some bulk. And then I'm going to do that along the bottom of the other side. Okay. And that just gives it a smoother finish. So there's, like I said, less bulk in your book. I wish it was that easy to get rid of bulk in real life. Just give a little snip snip here and there. But, oh well. Okay, so then it's going to fold, and then we're going to place that on the front right there. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my glitter glue. I do think it's a lot easier and handier. I would also say it's more economical. But I also am a die-hard score tape person too, so I just go back and forth. I use them both. My bottle's getting a little bit empty, but I do have a refill. Okay. So I like to place the sides down first. And I'm going to place that on the bottom. I'm going to line it up, making sure that you have the opening on the left, because this is the front. So the opening was on the left-hand side. Give it a nice smoothing down. Might want to use your score tool, yeah, not your score tool. What do you call it? Bone folder. Sorry. That happens to me every time I record. My words just disappear. I don't quite get that, but okay, so that's an easy front. I am going to show you now how to do the insert that makes it look like the snow globe. Now, there's two ways to do it. I'm going to show you one way, or actually I'll show you both ways, and you can do whichever way works best for you. I don't know if there is a best way. This is mine before I decorated it. So you can see that it's got the circular part attached to the rectangle. Now, one way you could do that, and let me just I'm not going to do it this way on my book, so I'm just going to show you one way you could do it. Let me just get a fake piece of paper here. Hold on. Not a fake piece of paper, but a sample. Let me see. Okay, so this is not the right size or anything like that, but one of the ways you could do it is score it at the place so that you want it. So like mine, my rectangular piece is 7 inches tall. So I could go ahead and place a score mark at 7 inches, and I'm just going to fake it, pretend like this is 7 inches. Okay. Okay, so you would have it like this, and then you would place your circle on top of this small flap, draw around the outside, but then not cut at the top. So I'm just going to do a fake circle. I'm not using a template or anything, so it's going to be horrible. But like use whatever size you're going to use. I have some Stampin' Up. No, not Stampin' Up. There's a brand of materials or crafting supplies that I used to buy from that came with those circles. So anyway, you would put your circle at the very top, right where the fold is. Draw your circle. Okay, remember I'm doing it terrible because I don't have a real template. Okay, and then you would just cut the circle, but not cut it at the very top. So it would look, you would cut there, and then you would have to cut out the piece here. Okay, and then you would do the other side again. Okay, let's pretend like this is a good circle, but it's not. Okay, so then it's attached. I didn't do mine that way. Okay, so I did 2 separate pieces and then I attached them with a hinge, but that is an option, and I wanted to show that to you in case you like that better. So what I did was I took 3 pieces and cut them at 5 by 7 so that I had a rectangular piece. And then I had used my template and I cut out 3 circles. Now, because I used the dome on the front cover of my album, I used the dome actually as my template to make a circle. And then I cut 3 of those. So how am I going to attach this to this? I used a hinge system. So I thought it was, I didn't know if it would give it more sturdiness. I don't know. But oopsie, I just threw away my measurements. Hold on. Let's see here. And the hinge. Oh, that's the front pocket. Sorry, I'm hitting the camera. Here we go. I just cut this hinge at 2.5 inches by 2. So 2 by 2.5. And then I wanted to cut it, score it right in half. So it was 1 inch on each side. Okay. So to do that, I put the 2-inch side at the top and then scored at 1 inch. So then what I'm going to do to attach it is I'm going to adhere it to my circular base or my circular globe, and I'm going to glue it down. And then I'm going to glue the back part of the hinge to the rectangle. Now, does that give it more sturdiness? I don't know. I'm not sure. But that's the way I did it. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere, and then we're going to have to trim it on the side. So, because we were going to want this part not to show. So let me just get to it and show you what I'm going to use my glue. And I'm not going to go all the way to the ends on the top because that's going to be cut out. Okay. So I just put some glue on there. I want to attach it to my circle. Okay. So you can see I'm going to give that a second to dry. Now I am going to have to go back and make sure that I have enough glue on the corners, and I can tell that I need to get some in there. Yep, my glue's running out. So I got some on the corner there. And let me check this corner. Okay. And so now this glue doesn't take long to dry. I'm just going to trim up until it meets the top. And I'm going to cut out, like they look like little triangles. And I'll do the same thing over here. Trim that. Oops. Okay, so it looks like that when you've done your trimming. And then you just want to place adhesive on this piece now and center it in your 5x7 piece. So you have to eyeball your circle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on that 1 inch by 2.5 inch piece that will attach to the rectangular base. And I'm going to eyeball this placement. So okay, and I'm going to give it a chance to dry here. And so that's what it looks like on the inside. So you decide which method you like best, and that's after you put your decorative paper, you're going to place it in this pocket, and that's going to become the snow globe that we decorate, and we'll have the base down here. Okay, so that's one side. I'm going to take this piece out and move it to the side. So now we want to do the back page. And what I did was I cut out 3 at 5 inches by 8 inches. I placed the 5-inch side on my scoring tool, my scoring board, and then I scored at 1/2 inch on the side. I went ahead and mitered my corners, and now I'm going to attach that to the back so that I have, so this will be the front and the opening is on the left. So when I turn it over, I want the flap to be on the inside. So let me show you one that's not decorated yet. So there's the front. When I turn it to the back, I want the flap on the left. Okay, I don't want the flap. I want it to look kind of like a door, and then, you know, it doesn't have to open all the way. Okay, so again, that's 5 by 8. And you need 3 of those because you're doing 3 pages like this. I don't know why. I'm just going to switch and go ahead. Part of it is because I'm running low on my glitter glue. And I know the pin is around here somewhere. That is one bad thing about having this dark mat. The pin head is black. And so I lose it all the stinking time. Hopefully it'll show up. It was just right there. Oh well, okay. So I'm going to use score tape. This is the 3/8 score tape. And I will just place it on that 1/2 inch fold. Make sure it's on there real good. And I'm going to line it up so that the opening now is on the right hand side. I'm placing this on the left hand side. And I'm pretty good at eyeball. I'm going to turn this sideways though. I do better putting it on when it's like this. I take the whole piece off. And I'm going to line it up right at the edge. Right at the edge. And I'll go ahead and open it up, crease it with my bone folder, get a good stick. Okay, so back flap opens. Now we are going to end up putting a magnet on the back of that door, and then the partner will be on the right hand side so that it keeps the door closed. Okay, I do have a pocket on the left door now. It's going to be at the bottom, and so let me give you the measurements for that. You're going to need 3 of these for the 3 pages like this. They measure 3.5 by 5.5. Go ahead and score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Okay. And once again, after I did my scoring on the left, the bottom, and the right, I did go ahead and take out that corner at an angle on each side, so that it does take care of some bulk. And because I can't find the pin, where did I? Don't you hate that when you can't find something and you know it was just there 2 seconds ago? I don't know where it would have gone. Okay, I'll try, and it'll drive me nuts until I find it. So it's going to keep bugging me. I'll keep looking here and there until it shows up. If you can see it on camera, I wish. Okay, anyway, all right, I'm going to get back on task here. Okay, so now I'm going to put the 3/8 tape on here. And sometimes I think it's a little bit easier to use the score tape on the pockets anyway, because when you're folding down those sides and it's got the glue, it's just kind of messy. And I think I've said before, I hate getting my fingers messy. I know that's part of crafting, but ooh, it is not easy for me to get my hands dirty. I don't know why. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that that score tape sticks real good. I'm going to do my sides in first. That's always how I've done it, so that things slide down without getting caught. And then that bottom piece will go on the outside. Fold that down and let it stick. Take off this piece. Fold it down, let that bottom piece stick. And now I'm going to take off the bottom. And it's going to go on the bottom of the door. line it up with the outside and the bottom. Make sure it lines up. Making sure it's sealed real good. It got kind of on my score line. So let's see. I don't want that to overlap this the crease, because then the door won't close right. So I'm taking it off, and yes, it's ripping some of the paper, but you won't see that underneath anyway. Okay, I'm just going to move it over a tad. You get to see all my flaws. Welcome to my flaws. Okay. This is just to validate that when you make your mistakes, that other people do it too. All right, this time I'm using the glue instead of putting another piece of score tape on top. I'll just put glue on here. All right, and let's hope the second time is a charm. We do not want the overlap on the score to the door. So see, what I did before was it went over that score line, and so when I went to go fold it, it didn't fold nicely. So I'm going to move it to the right, or to the left some more. And I just want to make, yeah, that's going to be better. Okay. Give it a chance to dry here. I knew I could fix it. Okay. Yep. Okay. And I'm just going to give it a crease again. Okay, so now we have our door flap and we have our pocket at the bottom. Okay. The next thing I would do is place, I'm going to go ahead and do my, what do I want to do next? I will go ahead and do my top flap. Okay, the one that goes up here. So you'll need 3 of those. I cut them at 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. I placed it on the 4 1/2 inch side and scored at 1/2 inch. Again, I trimmed the sides. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the glue. So I don't want to seal the top of my album page. So I'm not putting glue on both sides of this flap. I'm just going to put adhesive on the inside so it will attach to the top. It will open, but yet this will still open at the top. So only put adhesive on this inside piece. Now it might be better to use the glitter glue because you have 2 seconds to move it if it doesn't get lined up quite right. Okay. And I want to make sure I don't have it touching yet. Okay, I like it right there. Go ahead and press it down so it sticks. Okay, so see, it's still open. And now we have a top flap. Now, the next thing I would do, and I'm not going to do it right now, but I buy the basic gray magnets from Tammy's store also, and this is the larger size. So what I would do is I would take a positive and a negative, and I'll just show you real quick, but I'm not going to do it until later. But you want to put your magnets on. So I stick them together. So I have a positive and a negative. You would peel off the sticker and place it on the door where you want it. Then you take off the other sticker and close the door and press down hard And then you can, when you open it, you'll have your magnet on each side. And then to make sure that it stays in place, I would go ahead and put a piece of score tape on top of that. Okay, now the reason why I don't want to do this on camera is last time I worked with magnets, I had a hard time getting this sticker off. So I want to play around with it a little bit and make sure I'm doing it right. But any kind of magnet just to keep the door shut. So then when this comes down, when you close the door, the magnet will keep both things down. Okay, so that's all I did for the 3 pages that are going to have the snow globe look to it. And then I'm going to put the base on the pocket and decorate. So here are, here's an example of a page before any decoration. So I have the pocket on the front. I would place the rectangular piece in the pocket, and the circle will hang on over the top. And I'll have the base, I'll cut out the base. I'm going to find a picture on the internet and cut it out, and I'll show you that later. Then when I turn the page, I have the flap that opens. I have a pocket on the bottom, a flap at the top. Okay? And that's all you do for those. And then you can cut out a rectangular piece for a top loading pocket and just stick in a piece to use for pictures. Okay, you might want to also like adhere some ribbon to the top so that it's easy to pull out. So that's 3 of the base pages. Now I also am doing a split on my hinge so that I can put 2 smaller pieces on. So when you look at the hinge, I'm going to actually cut 2 of them. I'm going to cut the second one and the 4th one. I'm going to clip them so that I can have 2 separate pieces on that same hinge. And I'll show you that later too. But let me just go ahead and give you the measurements for those pages. You're going to need a total of 4 for this one. Okay. So you're going to need 4 at 4 inches by 5 inches. Okay. 4 of those. That's 4 inches by 5 inches. And then you're going to need 4 at 5 inches by 5 inches. You're going to place it at 5 inches and score on the left, turn it around, score it at 1/2 inch again on the left again. So this was my 5 by 5 piece. Put it on your scoreboard, 1/2 inch on the left. I turn it around, 1/2 inch on the left. Again, I clipped my corners. Okay. And I went ahead and burnished with my bone folder. And I'm going to place the 4 by 5 on top, and then it's going to go on the hinge and be a small pocket. So here's that 5, the piece that's going to go inside. I'll give you the measurements for that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and use, I think I'll just use this because I can't find the pin. Might as well use it all up. And I'm just going to do one side at a time and line it up. So I put glue on one side, and I'm going to turn this just because it's easier for me and line it up. Okay. Press down, make sure it adheres real well. And now I'll go ahead and put my adhesive on this fold. And I'm going to bring it down, fold that down a little bit with my fingernails, and press. Everything lined up real well. Okay, so it's just open on both sides. So one side will be attached to the hinge, and the other side you're going to need 4 pieces at 3.5 by 4.5, and that goes inside of the small pockets. 3.5 by 4.5. Okay, So then that will just slide in, and I'll put something at the end so it doesn't go all the way in, so it'll be easy to grab out. Okay. I don't like the things in my pocket to be super tight. So you'll see, like when I line this up, you can see that I have some give on each side, but I still have to put my decorative paper on. And like I said, I'll put something at the top like a stopper so it doesn't go all the way in, and it'll be easy to pull out. Okay. Now, I kind of cheat on my hinge on my videos. I don't go through the process and show you how to make the hinge. What I do is I refer you to Tammy Merrill's video because that's what I use. She did a fantastic job of explaining things, and it's a hinge that you can use the measurements and the rules that she gives for 5, for 6, whatever you want. This is a 5-page album, so I have 5 hinges. She always tells you to go about 1/8 of an inch less for the height so that things aren't too snug. So I am going to put the link in my description box so that you can go watch her tutorial on making the hinge system. Okay. I'm just saving myself some time. I'm being a cheater. But I already have my tape on here and all that kind of good stuff. So now I'm going to give you the measurements for the cover. So get that ready. I'm using chipboard from Tammy's store. Okay. I already have some of the process done to save time. So let me give you the measurements of the chipboard you will need. The larger pieces are 6.5 by 8.5. So let me write that down for you visual learners. It is 6.5 by 8.5, and you need 2 of those, okay, for the cover. And for the spine, I went 2.5 by 8.5, and that's the spine, so you'll only need 1. Okay, 2.5 by 8.5. And let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Yep. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. I put score tape on the back of all 3 pieces. I took 2 pieces of the cards, the artisan cardstock, and adhered them together because it wasn't long enough just being a 12-inch piece. So you'll see a seam. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Let's see. There it is. You can see a seam, and I made sure I put it in a spot that it would not be bending there. It's going to be on the back of my album, so you won't even see it. Okay. So I adhered those 2 pieces together. I did go ahead, and usually I eyeball it, but this time I drew a 1-inch border on the side so I would know how to place it evenly without screwing up. So I took a 1-inch measurement, drew a line on the bottom, or on the side, the bottom, and the top, and so I could easily place it nice and straight. After I placed the one on the left, I put a 1/4 inch piece of score tape next to it to give the spacing of the spine. Then I placed my spine down, and again at the 1 inch, I had a 1-inch line at the top and the bottom so I could line it up real well. I placed another piece of 1/4 inch score tape on the right hand side of my spine as a spacer. And then I placed my right hand piece of chipboard by again looking to see where the 1 inch. Now I did not put a line on the right. I notice I have more than 1 inch on this side. So, and that's okay. That's not going to make a difference. If it bugs you, you can cut it down so you just have a 1-inch side here. Okay. So then I'm going to miter my corners, and to miter, you're going to clip off the corners here at each, each piece. Now I do have a tool that I use. Sometimes I think it's helpful, and sometimes I don't think. It says it's called the Perfect Trim Ruler, but sometimes it's not perfect for me. So I don't know if it's me, which very well could be, or if I'm not lining it up right. But I know you go by the measurement of your chipboard, and this is pretty small. The thickness isn't real. It's not real thick. It's a medium weight chipboard, and then you would just line it up. Can you see that? you line it up on the corners so that everything lines up, and then you just take your X-Acto knife and clip the corner, because you don't want to get super close. You need to leave a little bit outside of that corner so that you can tuck it and cover that little corner of chipboard. So you're going to cut right across. Look at the magnet stuck to my scissors, sorry. You're going to cut right across here, but I'm going to go ahead and use this tool. So I'll come back and show you my corners. Like I said, if you don't have this tool, just make sure when you're cutting it diagonally that you leave a little bit of space on that corner piece, and you do it to all 4 corners, okay? And then we'll end up putting score tape around the edge and getting everything sealed up nice and neat, okay? So I'll save some time on camera by going off camera and putting some adhesive on. I'll talk a little bit about how to do the globe on the front and how to do the bottom of the globe on the inside pages. So I'll be back. I'll just do some things off camera to get prepared. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I've been working on the cover of my album, and the last time you saw this, it was just chipboard here, and I wanted you to know that I wrapped my artisan cardstock, the ivory color around, and I did use score tape for that. And then I placed 2 sheets of the 8x8 decorative paper from Sweet Peppermint on the inside. So I wanted it to have the polka dot pattern. On the outside, I went ahead and did the green and white snowflake. I just cut it for the front, and then on the back. And I had to paper piece it because I was running out of paper and I made a mistake. So that'll be the back, and I'll try and do something to cover that up. I do have this on the side. So I cut out a piece of the paper for the spine. The spine is 2.5 inches, and so I just took about 1/8 of an inch off. And the height is, how high did I say this was? It's an 8.5 inch tall album, so I took about 1/8 of an inch off of my measurements for the height also. So then what I did was I punched 2 holes at the top with my crocodile, and then I put some seam binding through and brought it to the other side and tied a bow, and then I attached a piece of silvered like tinsel string and attached the little bottle that has the tree and the snow in it, and I think that looks pretty stinking cute. And so I just tied a knot, and I'll put a little bit of glue on there to keep that from coming undone. Okay, so that's going to be all I'm going to do for the binding. So on the inside then, I'm going to move this up to the top so it'll lay flat. I have my hinge, and because 2 of the pages have small flaps, I need to clip my hinge in the center so I can have both pieces. Let me show you. So that I can have, oh, that's the insert card. Okay, so the hinge is going to be like this, and I want to be able to turn these independently of one another. And so what I'm going to do is just find on the 2nd hinge and the 4th hinge, because 3 of the pages are the regular size. So on hinge number 2 and hinge number 4, I'm going to go to the center and just eyeball it, and I'm going to take my scissors and clip so that they are separate. So I'm going to eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And so you can see that by clipping it, they'll be able to move independently of one another. And I'm going to do the same thing on hinge 4. Clip the center, and they will move independently of one another. So double check that they'll fit, and if not, we're going to clip the edges. Yep, that one's a little bit too small. So I'm going to have to make like a V, and I'll clip the edges too so that they'll fit. So I'll come back in and take a piece out. So I just cut a little triangle out, and then I'm also going to do that to the edge. And then it should fit. Sorry. Okay, so see, now it fits. So you might have to do a little adjusting on the end, and like I said, like a little triangle if you didn't get it straight exactly in the middle, but there's always a fix. Okay, so then I have the adhesive on the back. I'm going to adhere that. I'm going to decorate my pages, and then I'm going to come back and put everything on the hinge. Couple things I wanted to show you on these pages here that I haven't fully decorated yet. I want this to look like a snow globe. So I did not have a any kind of die to cut out that was a snow globe, but I found some of my spell binders, and this is the one that I used, the Nestabilities. It's labels 38, and I cut out using brown paper this, and this is what's going to be the base of the snow globe. So then I'm going to probably have to trim this top piece because it'll be a little bit too big. Glue that down, and then that's going to look like the base of the snow globe. And I'll go around with my Tim Holtz ink and distress it, but then I think that looks pretty much like the base of a snow globe. So I cut out 4 of those, 3 for the pages, and then for the front cover I'm going to need one too. So the next thing I'm going to do is the snow globe using the acrylic dome. And I just picked a piece of paper from the collection that I liked. Now you can purchase, I believe, a circle die that will cut at the right measurement. But what I did is I just traced it. And I'm going to cut inside of my tracing line. And it doesn't really matter if it's exactly perfect because I'm going to put some sort of lace or trim along the outside of that lip so it won't be seen anyway. So then I decided, okay, what am I going to put inside of the globe? So let me move this. My desk is a total mess right now. I've got all my Christmas stuff laying out. So I went and cut I have a die that says Believe. So I'm going to place that in the background. It's sticking to my finger. And then one of the chipboard pieces that I love is this girl right here. And she's going to go inside. And I have a flower from the Prima collection, and that's going to go here. And then I have these little, they look like pearls and little rhinestones, and I'm going to place that behind. And I got that, I believe, at Hobby Lobby. I just went to the wedding section, and it's called the Pearl Spray with Iridescent Pearl Drop. Okay. And so I'm going to glue that down, and I have to keep checking to make sure that everything will fit. So before I glue it, I'm just going to make sure that it will fit inside the dome and not go underneath that lip. Okay, and I'll glue that down, and I'm going to glue a snowflake down. I have some silver snowflakes, and I have some iridescent snowflakes. I have stuff all over it on my work area. I'm not even going to show you what it looks like. I have some silver, let's see. I have a silver snowflake that I could glue down. Let's see if I have any. Oh yeah, I have some iridescent ones too. So I'm just going to have to look to see which one I like better. So I have iridescent ones. Maybe I'll put a combination of the two. Okay, and I'll just glue that down and see what it looks like. And I'm going to adhere the plastic dome with the art glitter glue around the edge because it'll dry clear. And even if it doesn't, remember I'm putting a trim around here. So that's how I'm going to do the dome, and then I will put score tape on the back of the paper and place that on the front cover. I'm going to put the dome here, and then I will have the base down here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like after I've glued everything down, and then I'll show you how I'm going to adhere the dome. All right, I'll be back. This is what I ended up doing for the globe. Mine had static in it, and I didn't have one of those little pads that you swipe on the inside to make it not have the static cling. So what I did was I just glued down some of the sequins that came with the chipboard pack, and I just glued those onto the base so that they don't fly around, but they're also not going to stick to the dome either. Once I glued all of my elements down, I put score tape on the back. And then I took my glue gun, and I happened to have this trim that was perfect color. I love it, and it's got a little sequin. I don't know if you can see that, a little sequin here and there. And so I glued that around the edge with my hot glue gun. And then I had some iridescent pearl trim. And then I took my glue gun and glued that on top of the trim. So I think it turned out cute, even though it doesn't shake. And then I went ahead and added some lace. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a lace that comes from here and wraps around the front. And I used my glitter glue to attach that, and I did it on this back piece too. So I started it about, a fourth of the way over on the spine and wrapped it around onto the back. So that gives it a little something to look at. And then I inked the edge of my die that I cut out. And so now I'm going to adhere this to my front cover. And I'm going to attach the pole as look like a handle on the door. But I like it when they fan open and sit open like this, so I'm not going to have anything that wraps around to close it. I'm just going to keep it like this. So then I'm going to add my elements like my flowers, and I might have a sentiment down here from the chipboard collection, and wrap up my decorating. So once I have my cover done, I will go ahead and adhere my spine, put my pages in, and voila, I'm done. So hopefully you saw the walkthrough first. You saw how to put together the pages. I just showed a little bit of the decorating. I guess I assume that you know how to do some of the things, and so I don't always show them on camera, but hopefully that was enough to get you started and motivated to make a mini album. Again, this was the Sweet Peppermint paper by Prima, the dome. You can get all of this from Country Craft Creations, and let me know if you have any questions, and I appreciate your watching. And if I don't have another video up, have a great holiday.